We're going live. Good evening, everyone out there in the world. What's up? Harry the Big Dog here with the DJ interview. Welcome, everybody from YouTube, Twitch, Periscope. We are doing this night tonight. It is episode 24. I've done 24 interviews, and we're going to the 30th. So for you guys who are just logging on and following, this is National DJ Month, and I've done interviews from the first, and I'm going to go to the 30th. So without further ado, let's get this thing going. We got our special guest representing New Jersey. What's up, DJ MicahPhoneChecka?
What's going on, everybody? How y'all doing?
How was it today?
It's going. It's a good day. Can't complain, especially with everything happening out here.
I know that. So let's get this going. You can tell everybody your government name, okay, or just your DJ name.
Okay.
Where you're representing, and how did you get started in this game, this DJ game?
All right, so government name, because Facebook kind of switched that up a couple years back. It is Micah Harris. My DJ name is DJ MicahPhoneChecka. So if you pay attention to my to the spelling of the name, it's my real name, Micah, and it's PhoneChecka. So pretty much the name came from the Das Effect song. If you remember the Das Effect song, they made the song Mike Checker. And a lot of the early MCs used to say microphone check. So I kind of took what a lot of the early MCs was doing, from the Das Effect song, even Fife. I think it was the Bugging Out song. He was like, microphone check 1 2, what is this? As well as the Rockwaller, Method Man and Redman. First thing Meth said, MicahPhoneChecka. So you see where I'm going with this now.
I see.
So what happened was that it was just kind of like that thing where I was like, you know what, I can take my real name and take this and put it together. And there it was, DJ MicahPhoneChecka.
Nice. That was going to be one of the questions. How did you get your name?
Yeah.
So, how did you get started in this DJ world? What year was it when you actually got the bug, first of all, and then leading up to you getting your first record, your first turntable? How did that go?
I would say my main start was actually with just the generalization of the music. Like I'm from the late 70s, so for me it was growing up, having my dad's actual records, the 45s, the 45 groove holder, the 8-track, and putting a little tape between the 8-track to hold it in place. And we know what that's about. So like I said, I'm from the late 70s.
Yeah, we know.
See, there you go. But what happened was that I just had a love for vinyl, just for the touch of vinyl, just having vinyl on me. I remember going to my cousin's house, Shorty T. Shout out to DJ Shorty T from Delaware. And he brought me up into his room one day and he was like, yo, I want you to see something. So I was just like, all right. So we go up into his room and he had 2 turntables and a mixer. Now we're talking about, this is the 80s. So there was no computers. There wasn't the Rain or the Pioneers. This was like the old stuff. Like anybody who knows the old mixers, they weren't even like the metal. It was the wood framing.
Yes.
So we had one of those things
for Radio Shack.
And the dials were, like you said, the Radio Shack things, and the meter on it would just jump. So you had to try to keep the meter balanced. So the first song that he put on was KRS-One Boogie Down Productions, My Philosophy.
Uh,
And in the beginning of the song, he was like, "You're a philosopher? Yes. Give me yes. Give me yes. Yes." And I sat there and my cousin was just juggling the yes part. And I'm sitting up here in awe, like, oh my gosh. It just opened my mind and my eyes to something that was just so beautiful to me. A couple years later, Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince, they were performing live on, I don't know if it was the Grammys or the Oscars, and this was the first time that they actually had the camera over the DJ, because most of the time when they do stuff on TV, they would have it as the front view, so you never could really see what was going on. So they actually had the camera over Jeff looking straight down, and I saw Jeff's hands moving and cutting, and from there I was just like, okay, I want to do this. I fell in love with this. So my first album. See, I remember my first cassettes. I don't remember my first actual vinyl record. Actually, no, I do. I do.
What is it?
Now, are we talking about as in my first actual album as a DJ? Or are we talking about my first album from...
Your first that you remember buying?
All right, y'all going to clown me on this. My first album that I ever had, if you remember, Schoolhouse Rock. You remember that?
Rock?
You remember Schoolhouse back in the 70s? It was Schoolhouse Rock. That was my first. And I used to have the old Fisher Price. Remember the old Fisher Price album? And he used to carry around like a little case.
Yes.
That was my first album. My very first album. So, and that was my first one. And like I said, I'm from the late 70s. So some of the newer guys are like, what is he talking about? My first turntable purchase was back in I want to say 96, 97. This was when, now anybody who's from the tri-state area, especially between Philly, Delaware, and Jersey, down to tri-state, which was at the Tri-State Mall. Tri-State Mall doesn't even exist anymore.
Wow.
So that's why I'm mentioning these particular things, because some of these things are kind of like, as far as DJs, kind of like iconic and history for DJs.
Right.
So, they used to sell all the DJ equipment. I remember I went and I got my pair of, I kept putting money down on my first Technique turntable. And I remember I brought my first Technique turntable. I was proud, brought it home. I set it up on the dresser, and I had one turntable. And my first mixer, it was an old Gemini 4-channel mixer. And it had the little sound effects on there and all this other stuff. Now, here's the crazy thing. I still have that mixer. It's in my storage right now. I never got rid of that mixer. It was one of those things where I was like, you know what? This is mine. This is what started it. And
I'm keeping it.
Yeah. So I still have the mixer. It probably still works. It had the equalizers on there that you had to adjust individually.
Yeah.
And I still have that.
Nice. We got international DJ Tommy Lee checking in.
What's going on, Tommy Lee?
We got DJ Cam checking in. What's up, DJ Cam?
Salute the Cam, man. That's my man's right there, for real.
And we got DJ Sky checking in. What's going on?
What's up, Sky?
So, you get your first turntable. How long was it before? Because it seems to be like a trend doing these interviews that people get one turntable first, because them things was like $700 to $800. That was like a month full of checks back in the day.
Yeah.
How long before you got your second turntable?
I want to say it was a couple of years later. And during this time, because when I first got my first turntable, I was actually in high school still. Um, and what happened, my high school, I actually started off wanting to do radio.
Right.
So my high school had its own radio station. So what I did, um, back now, my older brother, he was we both went to the same high school. He was actually on the radio, so I used to listen to my older brother, his
Right.
radio show. So what happened after that, uh, over the course of time and over the course of years, because my brother graduated in '88, I graduated in '95. Shout out to Mount Pleasant High School, class of '95. Um, so what happened was when I started going to high school, they said, "Listen, we're considering opening up the radio station, and if anybody wants to get on the station, they can, if you want to come down, help clean out the station, we may give you a time slot." So, I put in my community time and put in my dues and stuff, and they said, "Okay, you helped out. What day and what time shift do you want?" So I picked Fridays, and it was from 5 to 7. And my show was called the Friday Night Jams. So I used to go on there every Friday, and I was just playing music and stuff. And that was pretty much my start. Going up until, going into the first uh, turntables and stuff like that, that probably happened more around 90, I want to say like 98, 99, because I went to college,
Right.
to school for broadcasting. So once I graduated uh, from broadcasting school, Broadcasting Institute of Maryland, shout out to you guys as well. Came home and I was putting money down on my next turntable,
Right.
and got everything together. And at this time, I was living in Chester, so I had my two turntables, and because it was my first technique. Now, my first technique, it was the silver colored one. So within about a 4 year time span, a 3 to 4 year time span, they were still making techniques, but it wasn't the same one that I got the first time. So I had
They ran
one
out of that
silver
paint.
one.
Huh? They ran out of that paint.
Exactly. So the next one that I got was black. So I had one silver, one black, with a big, huge Gemini mixer in the middle. And that's pretty much how it started. I was, I used to practice in the bedroom. I was, I'm not going to say I was the best at the time. I will admit that. You try to start off, and you're just trying to get your feet wet. It's making the little cassettes and giving them out to people. You're like, yeah, this is who I am. Check me out. Blah blah blah. And I can't speak for everybody, but there are, there's some DJs who come across other DJs that kind of bring them under the wing and help them along. The guy who really brought me under his wing and helped me along was DJ Rated R from Delaware. So
Okay.
shout out to R, because he definitely played a very intricate direction in where I'm at now. He brought me in. He was showing me some things. He didn't show me everything, but he was showing me some things.
He showed you enough, right?
Enough just to do a blend. One scratch here, one scratch there. But I knew he couldn't show me all his tricks, and it was all good though. But I got love for R, and he definitely helped me along in a lot of direction, a lot of things, and what's going on.
Now I'm gonna put you on a single frame. I want you to explain this silver and this other color turntable now.
Okay. All right. So what they did with the Technique turntables, they had. In fact, I might still have that behind me. I got my turntable set up behind me. I don't know if you can really see it, but it's the little setup, little messy desk or whatever. But what they did over the course of the times, you had the different turntables. So they first came out with the silver ones, and then over the course of the years, they were trying to make the turntables better. Now the black ones, they had different types of black ones. They had the digital kind and all that stuff. I didn't have the digital kind. Mine is the straight pitch. So, and the drive between the silver and the black one, the drive is a little bit different. So for those who know your turntables and who are heavy on your turntables, you know what I'm talking about. So, if you're up there mixing, you had to make sure that your blends was tight, because if you sit up here and if you can keep them blends tight, it's just off just a smidge or just a little, and DJs can hear that, but other people may not. It's like you at a party, you dancing, you'll be like, yeah. But for the DJs, you got to have that keen ear, and we're gonna be looking at you like, bro, what you doing?
Oh man. So let me take you back right quick.
Okay. That's what I'm talking about.
Let me show the audience
with the orange platter. Exactly.
What we were working with back in the day.
Exactly. I'm sorry. If nobody ever experienced that particular what was going on at that time, you just have no clue. That was the official turntables. There was no techniques. It was Fisher Price.
Fisher Price, and
Yes.
only one.
Yes.
Only one. And then before that, it was the record player that closed.
You know what my dad had? He had that he had the stereo system where it was the old school system where you could pile the records on top of each other. 45s or the albums. And what would happen is that you could probably have like about 5 or 6 of them. It would play, the one record would play, and then when the one record would get done playing, the needle would pick up, move over to the side, the next record would drop, the needle would go back over, drop back on the record, and that was it.
Imagine you doing a DJ set and that happens. You had one of them turntables. the record go close and then it just lifts up.
That would be the first and probably the last party you ever did. Like, you know what? Who hired him? For this guy.
That is funny.
You know what? I might have to cop that Fisher Price with you, man.
We got DJ So Lovely checking in.
Hey, what's going on?
We got DJ Howie D checking in.
Howie D.
We got D Ron checking in. What's going on, guys?
What's up?
So we're looking at 99 now.
Okay.
You're still using turntables.
Yes.
So how is that? Because now, just a year or two later, people are starting to go digital first with the CDJs, and then some time down with the Serato and everybody else. What's your career doing around 99 to 2001, 2002? Where are you at right now?
By this point, I was more in the nightclub era. And what was happening at that time, I was doing stuff in Philly. There was a nightclub in Philly. It's no longer around. It's called Flow Nightclub. And what happened at that time, they just finished a big radio promotion. They had one of the big radio stations come down, and they didn't have really, it was kind of like a gap. They didn't really have anything going on. So I was actually working another job. I was making a delivery, and I just happened to go there, and I talked to one of the managers. And I'm like, listen, who do I talk to about DJing? He goes, you talk to me. So he tries me out. I come in, and we're still using the turntables. And this was kind of like during the era, like you said, we're still doing turntables, and it was right before the CDJs. So
Right.
what they had the CD players, but it was the CD deck. I don't know the name of it, but it was the CD deck. But attached to the deck, they had the attachment on top with the fader attached into it in the middle. Now, I'm not a CD tech guy, so I don't know the actual name of it. So what you had to do, you had to push the button on the bottom, and the deck would open. You put the CD in, close it, and then you do everything from the top. So they had that as a alternate setup, but I was still on turntable. So I'm in the nightclub, and everything is just at a high. Um, I'm still able to go to the stores. I'm still able to get vinyl. Songs were still hot. This was and in the late '90s, like '99 going into the 2000s. This was kind of like the era of when a lot of the of when we were more so being introduced more into the down south music.
Right.
The crunk era was just starting to really come into play
Yep.
from what we were doing up here with with more of the New York style type of hip hop,
Mm-hmm.
the New York and Philly style. So what happened was that for me, the fact that I could carry uh, 4 to 5, possibly 6 crates, I had 4 DJ bags, and I also had a stack of loose records. And to anybody who's on the vinyl, you understand what that is and what we do. But somebody might look at it like, oh, that's a lot of stuff. But to us,
It's not enough.
it's not enough. And you had to bring all this music with you because you just don't know where everything is going to go, what the turnaround of the party is, if it's going to go in this direction or that direction. And it's funny because no matter how many gigs you do, no matter how many things you do, by the end of every night, when everything is quiet and your mind kind of starts running through, you kind of sit back and you're like, I didn't play this, I didn't play this, I didn't, and you start thinking, and you're like, man, how did I miss that? But yeah, 99 for me was kind of still in that golden direction of things. I didn't touch Serato, I want to say, until about 2004 or 5. I did it pretty late because a lot of the DJs that I knew, they jumped on Serato when it first came out. Some of them were coming at me. Oh, you got to switch over. You got to get rid of your vinyl. And my thing was, I'm not going to do it because my thing is, one, I love the vinyl so much.
Mm-hmm.
The second thing was, a lot of the songs at that time that they were doing on vinyl, that they were doing on Serato, I was still doing on vinyl. So there was really no reason for me to make any move off of that. I was still able to rock the parties. I didn't understand the concept of Serato. I knew what it was, but I never had anybody sit down and show me what it was. And I looked at a couple of DJs, and one of the in the early stages of Serato, one of the main reasons why I didn't do it was because a lot of the DJs that I knew, their computers were shutting down on them.
Yeah, it was real buggy in the beginning.
Yeah, so they, I kept seeing posts and texts about, the stuff shutting down, and I'm looking at them like, man, like, why would I want to go in that direction and have that stuff break down on me in the middle of a party?
Yep.
So I just stuck with the vinyl for a little bit longer than the normal.
Than the average bear, huh?
Yeah.
We got Kid Tree Nation checking in. We got Chris Gloss checking in.
What up?
he said, you got the voice of a radio DJ.
Yeah, that's my major. I went to school for broadcasting and everything. Broadcasting Institute of Maryland down in Baltimore.
Oh.
Yeah, so unfortunately, it's the school is no longer around, but I was definitely happy to be a part of that. So there is definitely love for that. A lot of good memories came from that.
Nice. So you're talking between 99 and about 2004, you're still heavy into vinyl.
Right.
What finally made you do the switch to go digital? And how long was the learning curve before you got comfortable and didn't bring any vinyl with you?
that so what made me do the switch was kind of two things. Uh, and what they were doing with the record companies, they weren't pressing records anymore. They slowed down on it. You couldn't go to the record stores. Um, one of the big record stores was Armand's in Philly,
Okay.
and everybody who's in the tri-state area, Armand's. And what happened was that Armand's was closing. A lot of the other record stores were closing, so it was making it hard for us to get vinyl. So that was one side of it. The other side of it was that at the time, I had a growing family.
Right.
I got three kids, so me having all my crates and all my DJ stuff inside an apartment, I had to make room for family. So I won't say I downsized because I never got rid of my vinyl. I still have my vinyl. It's in my storage unit.
Right.
But what I did, I just looked at it and I was just like, you know what? I got to make a decision because my family's growing. I can't have all this stuff around. And also what they were doing, they were a lot of music was coming out on MP3s. So, and when they were putting music out on MP3s, it was coming out so fast, it was actually making it hard to keep up. There was a point where I was using my turntables. I had I had these turntable CDs, and so if you saw me at some point, I had my 4 to 5 crates. I had 6 bags. I had my stacks of loose records, and I had a book of CDs. And if you saw me, it looked like a 4 turntable setup. So there
Uh-huh.
was the mixer turntables, the CD turntables, and I'm just going back and forth on everything. And it was something that it looked like something out of a science experiment because I'm just here and there, but I never missed a beat. The party kept going, and nobody seemed to mind. But over the course of time, I looked at it and I was just like, okay, this is becoming much. So,
Now you carrying more because you got two other were those CD turntables the Technique one?
they were similar techniques. I forgot who made them, but you could actually like scratch on it and everything. So, and it actually had a platter, like the actual vinyl. It actually had the vinyl platter.
Right.
So you could definitely scratch on it, stuff like that. And I was just going off of everything from what I had because for me, I did not want to lose I didn't want to lose the vinyl.
Right.
My heart is always with the vinyl. It was always that connection with the vinyl. So anything that I did, it was like I had to stay with. I just wanted to be with vinyl. That was like my
That
first
was your
love.
comfort.
Yeah. Switching over to Serato, that was I was still on the fence about that because just knowing what a lot of the other DJs were going through and hearing the horror stories in the beginning with the bugs and they're in the middle of the party and it shuts down or the computers are overheating. Yeah, so I didn't want to do that. a buddy of mine, DJ Den from Delaware. Shout out to Den. He sat up here and he calls me up and he's like, "Yo, I got it," because him and I didn't want to do it at first, and he was like, "Oh, I got it, and I want you to check it out." I came down and I checked it out, and he was kind of showing me a little bit of a couple of things. Still on the fence. I was being very stubborn, and I'm like, "Nah, I'm not doing this." But realizing what was going on, I had to just take care of, like I said, my family was growing, and I decided to get, at first I had to get the computer or my laptop. My first laptop was not an Apple. My first laptop was an HP computer. It was a big dinosaur.
Heavy.
Yeah, heavy. It was a home entertainment computer, and they had it on sale at I can't think of the store because the stores, a lot of the retail stores are closed. It was Circuit City. That's what it was. So it was on sale. The retail price on it was like $800. I got it for like $200. So I'm like, I complained. So I took it, and that was my laptop for a few years. And I had it hooked up to I got a terabyte. So, I talked to a couple of my buddies. They gave me some music. There was stuff that I had, and, put everything together. And I was trying stuff at home first.
Right.
I was still going out, doing stuff with vinyl. And then I finally did my first night with Serato. But it was more practical.
Before you stopped resisting till you did that first night.
Oh man, I probably say it actually took me. It didn't take me too long. It actually took me I'd say about 2.5 weeks.
Wow.
Because my thing was, I already knew the music. I already knew my crates. I already knew the songs.
Right.
So the only thing I needed to do was incorporate the typing on the computer. Like, I know some DJs, they have their stuff lined up and they can scroll right down.
Right.
I don't do that. That's not how my mind works. If you've ever seen me, I'm literally typing song per song. So if I'm going from one song, I'm going up in the search, typing up the next song, typing up the next song, typing up the next song. So, that's just how my mind works. Some people just scroll from one song to the next, to the next, and the next. And that's fine. That's their style. I'm not knocking anybody on that. But for me, I have to literally type the songs because to me, I can move faster that way. Did my first gig, one of those things where after I did my first gig and the night was over, I kind of sat in my car for a second, took a couple of breaths, and I was just like, all right, there it is. So, and that's it. It just kind of went from there.
We got a question from DJ Tommy Lee. Did it ever freeze on you?
It never really froze on me. There was one night. What's funny? The program didn't freeze on me. I knocked the hard drive, the USB out because I was moving so fast. Hold on. Big guy. Come here. Hold on, give me a second.
Yeah, he's got some young kids in there, so be patient, everybody. Yeah, but this is really good. We got DJ CJ checking in. What's up, Chris? And we have we actually oh, you coming
Okay.
back?
No,
Yeah.
no, go ahead. You can say what you were saying.
No, go ahead. I'm into this story. I was just kind of filling up time until you got back.
Okay. So, I did my first night, and there was one night where, I'm everything was going good. It was a good crowd, and not consciously aware, I'm sitting up here doing what I have to do, and my hand hit the USB cord, and everything just stopped. And I'm sitting here like, what's going on? So I'm checking, I'm checking the plugs, I'm checking the wires, I'm checking this, I'm checking that. And then I looked over and I saw it was unplugged. I'm like, all right. And everybody's looking at me.
You got me.
And
Yeah, I was going to ask you about a horror story, and that's partially one, but I want to see a good one. We got Joe Combs Jr. checking in. He said,
that's my man. What's up, Joe? Yeah, that's my man from high school. So yeah,
"Wow,
shout out to Joe. So the horror story.
yeah, let's hear a good one."
Okay.
And then we'll get into some questions from the chat. Put your question in for DJ MicahPhoneChecka.
All right. So my horror story, I actually started a riot.
Okay.
So what happened?
Let's know about this story first.
So it's kind of like the highlight of the whole Philly nightclub scene. And at that particular point, the nightclub that I was in, every night that I was there, we were packed. When I'm saying packed, it wasn't like, oh, it's packed one night and then it's not packed another night.
Right.
Anybody who was there, they know. We were packed. When I'm saying packed, we were doing 300 plus every single time.
Wow.
So the numbers never went down below 300. So this one particular night, it's like, how it's so packed in the place that the heat, like you can feel the heat. I'm up in the DJ booth.
The air was thick, huh?
Yeah, so the DJ booth was on stage, so you actually had to walk up the stage into the booth. I'm up in the booth. I'm sweating. Everything's going, and the crowd is on a high. I'm on a high, and I don't mean smoking, but we on that DJ high, so what
The DJ high.
Yeah. So what happened? There was a group of guys that came in, and this was the crazy part because I've been, I can play almost every genre of music. So at this particular moment, now I'm mixing everything, but at this particular moment, I'm playing like the real hyped up house music, like Barbie Girl and stuff like that.
Okay.
So at the time I'm playing Barbie Girl, it was a group of guys, and they are in the middle of the floor, and they're jumping up and down like crazy, and they're starting to like mash in the middle of the floor. They're mash pitting, and I'm looking at them like, yo, like y'all gotta calm down.
They
So
were
I get on the
slaying.
microphone, and I'm like, yo, I was like, fellas, y'all gotta calm down. I go back playing the song. They still mashing him because what they're doing, they actually formed a circle. So they were pushing everybody out. I get on the microphone a second time. I was like, fellas, y'all got to calm down. Now, by this time, I'm looking around the whole room and security is in the crowd. So they're actually kind of working their way into the crowd, kind of closing in on them.
Mm-hmm.
So I get on the mic the third time because the fellas was still wilding out. I said, if y'all don't calm down, security's going to F y'all up. All of a sudden, a riot broke out. Next thing you know, security's grabbing dudes. They're tossing them outside. The dudes are trying to fight back. And it went from inside the club into the street. So you got the security as well as our regulars who are normally there who are sitting up here fighting these guys that were mashing it up. Now, here's the crazy part. In front, as soon as you walk out, there is the street. So when you cross the street, they have the island in the middle of the road, the
Okay.
island, like the concrete thing. So the dudes that were fighting, they were in the middle of the island, in the middle of the street. They're throwing stuff back and forth, and somebody had took the when you go to the nightclub and they have those steel dividers, the steel rails,
Yeah.
like that form the lines. Somebody picked that up and they were throwing that back and forth across the street. And in the midst of it, what they said was they wanted me to come out and apologize to them. Come on, man. I ain't apologizing. I warned y'all. I was doing y'all a favor. I was giving y'all the public service announcement.
Yeah, give you the heads up. Hey,
You know what I
you
mean?
need to
I'm trying to help y'all out. But that was probably one of the craziest nights I've ever had.
Okay, I think you're up there. You're in the top 3.
Okay.
We got DJ Sky. He is number 1. You got to see his interview and his.
I'm gonna definitely check that out.
So we got a question from DJ CJ. He says, "Who is your favorite all-time DJ?" And we'll get into your DJ life. your DJ who have you worked with?
Oh man, see, that to me will probably be one of these hardest questions because I've pretty much grew up in the beginning of hip hop up until now. So you have different DJs in general.
Right.
I could do the who's my favorite DJ from around the way. I could do my famous DJ or DJs, and I could do some other stuff. So I'll start with from around the way. I'll say that it's my cousin Shorty T, because just knowing the staple of who he is and what he's become a staple in the tri-state area, because he helped out a lot of DJs, and he always shows love to a lot of DJs. He's not one of these guys that's going to turn you away. Even if he doesn't know you, if you go to him, he'll sit down and he'll talk to you. And if you got questions, like you got some DJs, they have this thing where they don't want to teach you how to scratch, and Shorty's not like that. DJ Shorty T, you'd be like, yo, I'm having trouble with this scratch, and he'll sit down and he'll be like, all right, this is how you do it, and he'll explain it to you. He breaks it all down.
Right.
Now, if this was on more of a broader scale of things, as far as the bigger name guys, I think just from what I've seen off of TV, it would be between Kid Capri and Jazzy Jeff.
Okay.
And the reason why is because with Kid Capri, it was the whole Def Comedy Jam thing.
Mm-hmm.
And if in the beginning of Def Comedy Jam, they used to always show Kid Capri, and him mixing on the turntables and stuff, and he was always hyping up the crowd. And then going into Jeff, Jeff wasn't in the hype, like he wasn't on the microphone the way Kid Capri was. But if you've ever really watched him in the detailed structure, I'll say, as far as scratching, he was definitely in that direction. At some point in my career, I wanted to be the next Jazzy Jeff or the next Kid Capri. I know there's a lot of other DJs out here, so I'm not knocking anybody out here at all. It's just from different perspectives and different views, and who I've actually seen and been around and stuff like that. I actually opened up for Kid Capri one time.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Wow.
It was an after party in Atlantic City, and it was Kid Capri. It was the comedy show. Kid Capri, Charlie Murphy. I believe it was Jamie Foxx, and they had the after party. I opened up for him. That was actually probably one of the big moments for me. I got a picture with him and everything. Like, it's up on my Facebook page.
Nice. We gotta get an interview with DJ Shorty T.
Hey, I'll let him know, man. I'll hit him up. Definitely let him know.
So, Joe Combs, he said, Micah's Fife Dog tribute is one of the best things I've heard in the last decade.
Okay, so
He's giving you big ups. Did you pay him?
I appreciate that. Thank you, Joe. This was after, this is right after Fife had passed, and growing up with the whole Native Tongue, Tribe Called Quest, Leaders of the New School, Jungle Brothers, Queen Latifah, Moni Love, that whole movement.
Yeah.
When Fife passed, that I think that hit a lot of people heavy. And from that, I just wanted to do something, and I just took what I could and I just sat down with it. And I just, just took all the elements that I had and I just put it together and I just put it out there. And, that was my tribute to Fife, and it's funny because, I was just listening to Tribe Called Quest the other day, and, I had a debate with one of my boys because Electric Relaxation. I told him, I said, yo, if you really sit and listen to that song, Fife could have did that whole song by himself. He didn't need Q-Tip. It's not a diss to Q-Tip, but
right.
If you listen to what he was and how he was flowing off of Electric Relaxation, Fife was killing it. It was between that and Scenario and Bugging Out.
Yeah.
Fife was on his thing, and I'm just like, man.
Good, nice. So, DJs you've worked with from back then to now. Did you already said Kid Capri? Who else did you actually work with? If any. I've done with the guys that I came in that kind of helped bring me into the DJ game. Shorty T, DJ Rated R, DJ Cam, DJ Joe Brasco, Philly Star DJs. Shout out to you guys. Shout out to the whole Philly Star DJs family. Now, if we're going into the bigger scale of things, it was Kid Capri, Biz Markie. I've done stuff for artists. So okay, which artists?
Oh man, I have opened up for Genuine. I've opened up for 50 Cent, Chris Brown. I've done after parties for Drew Hill, Jagged Edge. Did the old school after party where it was Rakim, Special Ed, Biz Markie again. It was supposed to be Big Daddy Kane, but he didn't show for the after party. I've opened up for En Vogue. I've opened up for I'm trying to think. I've opened up for the Wailers. Opened up for some country western artists. Um,
Who would have thought?
in West Virginia. That was the other thing.
Uh,
So yeah, now that was a little bit of a story on its own, but yeah, and I've actually kind of sort of opened up for, well, I opened for Jamie Foxx. Yeah, I opened for Jamie Foxx, and I was on Sirius XM through Jamie Foxx.
wow.
Yeah,
See, I want people to hear this because we have new DJs and we have older school DJs who
right.
may have done a lot of this. I know DJ Tommy Lee, I know Cam, DJ Cam, and quite a few others here have worked with artists, worked with your major DJs, and I want people to hear this because some of them may feel that they're not able to get to that level, and you can,
Right.
because a lot of people on these interviews, they have worked with DJ Juan Kun. He did Muhammad Ali's birthday.
Nice.
So
Nice.
you just never know where this DJing thing, if you stick with it. Now,
Mhm.
now, do you work full time, or is DJing your full time gig?
DJing is my full-time gig, but because of the whole coronavirus thing and everything's been put on lockdown, I am working another job currently right now. Because,
Okay,
it's been a few
yeah,
months and I gotta
shut down.
put food on the table and keep the
Hmm.
bills paid. Um, Now to kind of, for the younger DJs out here and for anybody at that, I've been in a position where a couple of times I wanted, I thought about quitting. I really thought about, just giving up. And it was ironic because at those particular times, something was always happening that was showing me that I just need to stay where I'm at and keep moving forward.
Now,
And
what years are we talking about? You almost quitting?
oh man, it happened. I'd probably say it happened around uh, 99, and it happened
Okay, so
probably like,
beginning of everything.
yeah, because the transition of everything. And at the time, I had lost one of the nightclubs one of the big nightclubs that I was at,
Right.
and so for me, it was when things are going well, and then you lose one of your big gigs, it kind of redirects your pattern and your path. And nobody was really calling me at the time, so you kind of like, all right, what am I going to do? Then again, probably like around 2004, 2005, and like I said, around 99. The first time I thought about doing it, I get what made me keep going was that I got a last minute phone call. A friend of mine hit me up and they're like, listen, if you can cover this for me, I need a favor. I got somebody that, they need a DJ, the DJ that they were supposed to get. He called out at the very last minute. And they were like, they can't really pay you much, but if you just do this solid for me. I was like, you know what? I got you. So went to do this party, and it, the whole thing's still sitting on my mind.
Right.
About I'm thinking about contemplating about leaving the whole DJ game, and I'm at the party, and I'm sitting there, and people are coming in and out of the room, and people are like, coming up, shaking my hand, dapping me. They're like, "Yo, like you killing it," blah blah blah. So I'm not. It was kind of like a thing where consciously I knew people were there, but I'm looking down on the turntables.
Right.
So as I'm going through the turntables and everything, and I'm looking down at the vinyl and I'm just mixing. My head is just down, and it's kind of like you kind of like see people walking by and putting their hand out to shake your hand. So I'm not even looking up. I'm just putting my hand up to them and stuff. So somebody walks by and they put their hand up. All of a sudden, I felt somebody kiss my hand. So I look up, and it's this girl. And she goes, "Whatever you do, don't stop." She said,
Wow.
"You are excellent."
Wow.
And that just kind of sat with me because you don't realize the impact of who you are, what you're doing, and how it affects other people.
Yep.
You really don't understand that. A lot of times we just go out here, we do these parties, but when she said that, that has always stuck with me. That it was kind of like the ride home. It was a
Right.
quiet ride home because
you and your thoughts, huh?
yeah, because a stranger just coming up to you, and let alone the fact that she kissed my hand, and
Right.
she's like, don't stop doing this. So
And to put it in perspective, you didn't tell anybody you was going to quit DJing, did you?
not at all. This was like my own personal.
How did she know?
Yeah, so that was the first one.
Yeah.
The second time, it was kind of, my family was growing, and things were slow. And I get a last minute call, and this kind of goes into the whole Sirius XM thing. I get a last minute call because I was only doing like a gig here, a gig here. I might have had like one gig every week or every 2 weeks. So it was like slow.
Yeah.
So I get a call, and it's a last minute call, and the company I was with, they were like, listen, they were like, Jamie Foxx is in Atlantic City, and they needed a DJ to open for him. So I was just like, all right. They were like, can you do it? I said, I got you. So what I did, went down there. Now, they were telling me when I got down there, they said, you can't play this style of music. They didn't want me to play no hip hop. They didn't want to play no R&B. They wanted me to kind of keep it on the pop type of things.
Right.
So what I did, I got down there, and I started, I was keeping everything light. I was reading the crowd, and, I saw the crowd coming in. Once I saw that crowd coming in, I said, nah, I'm going to do my own thing on this one. Because I'm watching the crowd. You telling me I can't play hip hop, I can't play R&B, but this is the crowd that's coming in? I'm like, nah, man, we going to get this in. So I just started going off. And this guy comes along, and he asked for my business card. Gave him the business card. That was it. And at the time, this was during the time that Jamie Foxx, he was doing he was doing comedy tours. Okay. And he would come down every summer to Atlantic City. I think he did this for...
Was that the Laugh-A-Palooza or something he was doing?
I think it was. And he had he had his crowd of people that he came down. I can't think of the girl's name. She was with Amber. She was dating Kanye, and then she went to Wiz Khalifa. But she was there. She was on. She was down. She came to AC, and that was my first time seeing her in person. That's all I'm saying. But what happened after I did the thing in AC, because Jamie Foxx actually hung around. He was playing poker, so people from his team came over. They were like, can you play a couple of Jamie Foxx songs? And I was like, yeah, I got you. So I'm doing this whole blend of Jamie Foxx songs right on the spot. And afterwards, a couple of people came over. They said thank you, and that was it. About 2 weeks later, I get a phone call. And the guy says, listen, he goes, I got your business card. You gave it to me a couple weeks back. And, I just want to let you know that I'm with Sirius XM. and we liked everything that you did. We did everything we asked you to do, and we wanted to know if you can make us a mix, and if we like the mix, then we want to bring you in to possibly be one of our DJs for Sirius
Wow.
XM.
Yeah.
So I'm standing there and I'm like, stop playing.
You might get punked.
Yeah, man. I'm like, come on, man. So I'm like, all right, whatever. I'll entertain this. Put a mix together. I sent it to him. And, they had this whole thing where it'll be, don't call us, we'll call you. So what happened, it was about a week and a half. I didn't hear anything. So I'm sitting here and I'm like, all right, I gotta get an answer on something. It was just sitting on my mind the whole time.
Yeah.
So I sent him an email, and what I did in the email, I pretty much just said, thank you for considering me. I do appreciate and enjoy my time for opening up for you guys and doing your event. So the respond that they came back is, we want you to join our DJ team.
Mm.
And at the time, I had the response, I'm looking at my phone, and I had my son in the crib, and I'm just in shock. And I'm just standing there like, are you serious? Like, really? So what happened, we talked a little bit more. They asked me to put together some more mixes for them. I did that, sent it to them, and that was pretty much it. I did Sirius XM for about 4 to 5 years. And, I very, very much enjoyed that opportunity. The fact that you can be on that platform and anybody can hear you and listen to you at any given time or day. And, you don't know who's listening to you.
Yep.
Going back, you were asking me about who else did I work with as far as DJs. I opened up for Funkmaster Flex.
Okay.
What happened was somebody contacted me and they wanted me to come up to Manhattan, and they were like, we got the China Club. China Club is no longer exists. Anybody who knows the history of China Club, if you watch Chappelle Show, and they did the whole Rick James skit, they were talking about the China Club. Yeah. And that was the same China Club. So me going there, the whole time I'm thinking of the Chappelle Show skit, and I'm looking around like, well, is this what happened over here? Is this what happened over here? But I got the chance to open up for Master Flex up there as well. And, so I'll say compared to, I think in the beginning, I wanted to be the big name DJ. I wanted to have that whole, I want to be famous. I want my name up in lights.
Yeah.
Over the course of the years, it came to me just wanting, what I appreciate was that I just have the longevity of it now.
Yeah.
I don't look at it as the big name in lights thing anymore. I was able to take something that was a hobby and something that I love to do and make it a career. And for me, that was definitely something that is still there. Like, I think one of the big accomplishment for all DJs is when you can get residencies. When you get a residency, whether it's on the radio, whether it's on, you're at a bar or in a nightclub, and you're getting paid every single week. You're getting something in your pocket, or even if it's just exposure every single week, that's definitely an accomplishment for all DJs. So, I've been on a few radio stations, started off with my high school radio station, went from that to, I actually did a big band station. And when I was in school in Baltimore, I had an internship there.
Wow.
Yeah, so it was the whole Rat Pack, Frank Sinatra, Fred Astaire, that type of genre of music. I knew nothing about that genre of music. Um, once I did that, it made me appreciate, some of the things that was going on. Because I listened to everything pretty much, but some things, just didn't really mess around and touch. That was one of the genres. But after I did that, it was definitely a thing off of that. So kind of like progressing and going, I will say for anybody, don't stop what you do. If it's something that you love, keep going. If you, because I know a lot of DJs that I came in with that aren't DJing anymore, and some of them fell on hard times, some of them got caught up in things, but if there's something that you definitely love to do, definitely keep going.
Right. Do you think any of them lost the passion to DJ?
I look at it. See, I kind of look at it like this. In order for you to have that passion has to be from the beginning. Don't have it as a superficial passion. And what I mean by superficial is, I know some guys that came in and they were like, "Oh, I'm gonna do this because I'm gonna get all the women." Come on, man. Like, come on, man. And it's like a lot of the DJs who are still around is because they have that passion. They still have that love for what's going on out here. And it's always, something that if that passion is there, you will always keep going in different direction in different areas in the game.
Nice. So, one more question before I get to my personal last question.
Mhm.
You say you were doing the whole DJ thing full time.
Yes.
How long were you doing it full time? Did you do it the whole time, or did you work and then eventually went full time? How long?
It actually, I'd probably say this was a span of probably like 15 years full time. Now, starting off, I had my day job, but what was happening was that the demand for me to DJ was starting to pick up more. So it was, I could have a day job where I'm getting up at 5 in the morning and I'm working from 6 to probably almost 6 in the evening. And
Wow.
then only getting an hour or two of sleep, if that,
Mhm.
and turning around and then having a DJ that night somewhere. And what was happening was that the money on the DJ side was coming in a lot quicker than the day gig.
Yeah.
So it was like,
That's
okay,
on demand pay.
right. So my thing was, okay, if I can make, if I'm working 3 nights out of the week, that covers me from what I can usually do from a day job.
Yeah.
So it kind of flip-flopped around to where I started doing more DJ stuff. I had a day job here and there, and then at some point I just completely just went straight into DJing.
And I asked that because we had, out of the 20 some odd interviews, we have about three maybe that's actually doing this full time. This is all they do.
Mhm.
Now, has this taken you overseas anywhere?
No, I have had a few people say that they wanted to bring me overseas. And I've met some DJs, and they're like, "Man, you will be excellent in Europe. You would be excellent in China. You'd be excellent in England." And my thing is, I'm like, "Let's go! Like, let's get that ball rolling." But no, it hasn't happened yet.
Okay. So my personal last question is, what do you tell a DJ? Well, what advice would you give them? A DJ that's just getting into the business, they have no connections, no nothing. what do you tell this person? What advice do you give them?
If you're first getting into the game, number one, know the music. Don't make it off of what you like. Because growing up, I've listened to rock, I've listened to country, I've listened to hip hop, I've listened to gospel, I've listened to opera. You know, listen to everything. You know, if you into hip hop, then take 2 weeks away from hip hop. And trust me when I say 2 weeks from hip hop, you're not going to miss anything. It ain't going nowhere. Same thing with R&B. It ain't going nowhere because 2 weeks after that, you come back, you're still going to be hearing the same songs.
Uh-huh.
So what I'm saying is take 2 weeks off. Take a week of listening to nothing but rock music. Take a week of listening to nothing but jazz. Take a week of listening to nothing but country. Take a week of listening to nothing but house music. And I ain't talking about the follow me type stuff. Listen to the David Guetta songs. Listen to Steve Aoki stuff. Because a lot of times it's not you can be like, well, I don't like this and I don't like this. But I can tell you right now, when you have that mindset, you actually limit yourself.
Right.
Because you don't know what's going on, who's listening, and how far it will take you. I've done events for white crowds, strictly white crowds. I've done events for black crowds. I did an Indian wedding. I don't know what they're saying, but I did an Indian wedding.
Wow.
And this is what I mean. Listen to everything because you don't know where it's going to take you, and you don't know who's listening. I'll just say this. One of the things outside of DJs getting compliments, one of the things that DJs love also is tips. The biggest tip I've ever got, ever, was $800.
Wow.
A tip.
From one person.
One person.
Wow.
And you know what's funny? You know what the song that they wanted me to play?
What?
Flow Riders Low. Here's the crazy part. Now, some people could look back like, oh, that song corny and all this stuff. But because that person asked me to play that song, and I played that song a few times that night because of that particular person, I got an $800 tip. And, it's like, sometimes, you got to have an open mindset. A lot of people come in with the ego and, well, I'm DJ so-and-so, blah, blah, blah. I don't do this. I don't do that. I'm going to say this. You're limiting yourself.
Yeah.
You're limiting yourself because that mindset will always keep you in one place or in that bubble. So, don't be afraid to go out here and see what's out here. Go to these other bars that you're not used to going to. I go to different places and I'll sit back and I'll find the darkest corner of the spot. I just watch people. I'm listening to the music because quietly I'm trying to take that other person's job. and I know what I can bring to the table. But, very much appreciate the music. If you say you love music, appreciate it. Appreciate everything, especially as us being DJs.
Yeah.
And for black DJs to be in a position of where we are, like I can tell you now, I did a rock mix back in 2000. I think it's like 2014, straight rock mix.
Wow.
And this is what I mean. You got to have that open mindset of music, because it's to me, all the music connects. Everything connects. I can go from a country western song to a hip hop song, and I can make that transition so smooth. At one point you'd be like, "Is he playing? What? How did he?"
Such and such with such and such.
Yeah. So, but my thing is don't just make it about what you like or what your people's like. Expand yourself, because when you expand yourself, you expand your business. You don't know where it's going to take you. It might put you on Sirius XM, or it might take you overseas.
Yeah.
So definitely expand yourself, and learn to grow from the game off of that. My daughter's coming over, so she might pop up in the picture. She just finished.
We got DJ Clientele. He said he plays for the lighter shade crowds.
Hey, and that's what I mean. Say hi.
There's nothing wrong with it. What's up, DJ Clientele? There's nothing wrong with it. I did a big band set one time.
Mm-hmm.
I played Italian music, Frank Sinatra, the whole night. Me and my partner, and it's what people want, and you're right. You have to be open to playing, and other DJs need to hear this. But playing devil's advocate, there are DJs that just stay with one genre. I know straight up house DJs, they don't play anything else, and they still get the type of the type of gigs that a lot of people get.
Yeah.
So,
come here. Just.
And they've gone overseas and the whole nine. So yeah.
And that's the thing, I think for what we do, we are great on so many levels. And when you challenge yourself, it's almost like this. Okay, you got these DJs out here that can scratch their behinds off. Their battle scratching. I know guys personally who can battle scratch like crazy.
For 6 minutes, right?
Right. But then when it comes to them doing a regular party, they can't put them blends together. They can, like you said, 6 minutes, they go crazy on it. Everybody's like oohing and on, but then when it comes around to it, they can't do a 4-hour party. Because, they started off doing this particular style, and it's kind of like, okay, you limited yourself. So, and that's not a diss to any of the battle scratch DJs. Like, I love seeing these dudes. Like, I watch these.
Me too.
I ain't gonna front. It's stuff that I can't do. I'm not gonna front about that. But my thing is that, if you only limit yourself to a certain level, it's kind of like, all right, this is my nerdy side. For anybody who watches Dragon Ball Z, if you ever watched Goku when he was training in the chamber, he always kept pushing himself to get to the next level. And that's how it is in a game. You always got to keep pushing yourself to get to that next level, because you don't know what's up here. You stopping here, but you got to get up here. So once you get up here, then you still got to get up to here. So it's always going one on top of the next on top of the next. And I look at from everything that DJs are capable of doing. It's a difference when you making 150 a night to where you can make 800 plus a night.
Right.
Huge difference. And for some of the DJs, they know what I'm talking about. You've been that 150 gig, and then when you first got that $800 gig, and they putting that money in your hand, or they putting that check in your hand, it's a huge difference.
Mm-hmm. Then how do you go back to that 150 mindset when you know I can get this now?
I always looked at I can't speak for everybody, but for myself, I never looked at it like I was hungry. I never took that mindset. My mindset was always I'm starving.
Right.
Because if you are starving, you're gonna fight, you're gonna struggle, you're gonna push to get to where you need to get to. Because you can be like, oh yeah, because the one thing I don't want to be is comfortable.
Right.
You get comfortable and you're doing the same stuff. And sometimes some of the places that you may actually work at, because they limit you from playing certain genres of music, you just have to kind of just go along, do what they ask you to do or tell you to do, and that's it. So, you could have this whole talent, and some places that you might go to, they might say, well, we only want you to play this. You're just like, okay. and what are you going to do? You if that's what they want, okay.
Right.
But you know where your skill is, where your talent is, and you go from there with it.
Crazy. So we gonna wrap this up. We almost been on for like an hour and a half.
Hey.
And I was hoping to get 30 minutes out of you. Are you willing to come back for part 2, 3, 4, 5, 6?
Absolutely.
Oh man, thank you for your time, bro.
Can I
very enlightening. And DJs need to hear this.
Right.
This is episode 24. We got a few more DJs coming, so keep your eyes peeled. DJ MicahPhoneChecka, not Micah PhoneChecka.
Yeah.
I thank you for your time, and your story is just like so interesting. You're coming back another time, guaranteed.
Definitely.
Yes. So we will see you soon. All right.
Yes, sir. All right, Harry. Thank you for everybody out there. I could do the whole shout out thing. I did shout out some people within the interview. So, shout out to my family, for my family supporting me and everything. Shout out. I'm not going to go whole crazy on the name thing, but one thing, just so you know, you can check me out on Free Agent Radio. Again, shout out to DJ Cam. Every Friday, I do the mix at 6. So it's www.freeagentradio.com.
Yep. And I'll put all the information in the description of this video, so people have a way to get in contact with you.
Cool. Definitely hit me up. Say what's up. Be in my inbox. I'm a little slow on the inbox thing because I don't have a Facebook Messenger. So I'm a dinosaur. So give me a couple of days to respond to you, but I will definitely respond.
All righty, sir. You have a great night, and we'll talk to you soon.
Yes, sir.
So once again, episode number 24. So we're going to keep this going tomorrow. We got another special DJ. And don't forget to tune in. Don't forget. I'm going to take a phrase from International DJ Tommy Lee and DJ Cam. Tell a friend to tell a friend. And I'm going to switch it up. Tell a DJ to tell another DJ. Join the group. Join our group. The group is for DJs only, but we do have a page for those people that just love coming in and watching interviews and are interested in DJs. So that's what this whole group is around, DJs and having a community. So thank you guys again. This is Harry the Big Dog with the DJ interview, and we will see you tomorrow around 8-ish.